Hello everyone, it's your boy, a talking marshmallow. And today we're going to have a little talk about Legendary Lilina because apparently people wanted to hear my opinion on her when I was in the middle of playing Genshin Impact last night. So here it is. What is up with Legendary Lilina? Now first of all, I thought that she was kind of amusing because I remember seeing a fake video of Legendary Lilina a little while back. Like I think before Legendary Dimitri was a thing or something like that. So a little self-fulfilling prophecy is always nice to see, especially since I don't think she's legendary material. Anyway, what started as some kind of joke is now a thing, but she's kind of built weirdly. Let me explain. So first, we gotta start with her weapon, the studied Foreblaze. Now the thing has a cooldown reduction. Then, a turn 1 cooldown reduction further, in a similar vein as Ophelia. Then, if she were to go into combat, she gets an attack res 6 during combat, and disables unit and foe priority with a built-in hardy bearing. This all sounds great. Combined with her unique gifted magic means that Lilina can spam AoE attacks, and they can't vantage her. Cute, right? Well, there are many flaws with it. I don't think Lilina was really taken seriously when they made her. People might think that, oh, she's great on cav lines or something like that. Yeah, well, I seriously don't think so. Let me explain. So, to start with, we gotta talk about gifted magic and AoE specials in general. Now, one of the most important things you gotta remember about AoE specials is that they deal neutral out of combat damage based on a calculation between visible attack and defense stats. Lilina has two sources of in-combat damage in her base kit. One is her weapon, that she can't do anything about, the Study Foreblaze itself, and the other thing is the attack res solo that she comes with, which I advised you to replace later. Lilina's whole gig is about the two-part explosion and normal attack combination, which, by the way, I still find it kind of stupid because how they still don't have a unique character quotes for these kinds of things after 4 years. I mean, can you imagine if she just goes and explosion, or the magic is within and blast you? I thought that would be kind of cool, but no, she doesn't do that. It's been 4 years and AoE specials still don't have any quotes. I mean, it's not a big deal, but it's aesthetically pleasing to look at. But anyway, because of how she's built and the nature of AoE attacks, much of those attack that she gets from her in-combat buffs, well, are lost, because in-combat buffs do not work on AoE specials. You need visible buffs, or just having a lot of visible attack. Unless, of course, they modified this particular AoE special to work differently, but doesn't seem like it. Well, we'll see about it, though. Anyway, so this thing has two charges, right? In balancing this technique, it has a 0.8 or 80% modifier of damage between her attack and the target's dev res. Balancing skills based on a number of charges is fine. I mean, I can appreciate that. But for an AoE special tied to a character that's supposed to revolve around her, yeah, I don't know. I mean, between her poorly built setup with the in-combat buffs and the modifier of 0.8, her damage is actually not that scary sounding. And while she does appear to have a high base attack of what appears to be, I think, 42, it's not quite enough because units these days have high resistance. Well, main tanks anyway. Being able to stop vantage, oh, of course, that's a great thing. They can't just sucker punch you and kill your ass. But, yes, it's one of the major weaknesses of AoE specials. But hardy bearing is a seal. You would rather have a much bigger blast for a character who performs AoE specials. They're a character who are or nothing attackers, like Legendary Lilina, that really wants to make sure their opponent dies in one hit. Because, as I said again, dedicated tanks these days have tons of resistance, so you need as much attack as you can get. And you need to knock them out as quickly as you could, because, especially Lilina, because Lilina has, like, no speed. And since they do neutral damage, That 0.8 modifier is dangerous, because now the likes of Edelgard could probably tank the attack and present a huge threat to Lilina. What, with her 39 HP and 16 defense, she's going to have a hard time with counterattacks, and she doesn't have any way to deal with them. Now, a second problem is this attack is two-part, right? Well, it makes sense for an AoE special, because after doing one, you get to attack again, and, well, it would automatically bring you back up to use it again, because you get your second attack in, and this thing is only one charge, because the weapon already comes with a -1 cooldown reduction. So this is a cute little design, which allows you to spam your AoE attacks. It's a sound design. The design itself for this weapon, at least the first two parts, is not wrong. But, well, because of its low charge, you're not likely to kill your target. And most importantly, what happens if you run into someone with guard? Well, there goes that idea, because your second attack is going, well, actually your first attack, but after your AoE attack, your attack is going to be stopped by guard, or rather your charge is going to be stopped by guard. So if you run into someone like that, well, there goes that idea, because it ruins the entire character, it ruins the entire design that I just praised as a result. It makes Legendary Lilina into a simple one single attack mage because of her hilariously low speed. So if it doesn't have her AoE attack, it's just a really dangerous place to be in. You became garbage. I mean, even if you did successfully make a kill with your initial AoE attack, but then you got guarded, you have a problem, because then you have to enter another battle before having it charge back up for the next AoE attack for the next battle after that. And that's if the second guy you hit don't have guards themselves or something. So, again, this is a sound design. I get it. But it just doesn't work if you run into something like that. And the damage is just too low for an all-out attacker. I mean, look, the problem with this is that, again, it's a two-part assault. And that may sound very funny. You get to attack someone twice, but that's the other problem. That's the second problem. So, first of all, we talked about how it works already, and no low modifier being a problem. Well, you might recall recently that we had a number of techniques specifically tied to reducing AoE specials damage from characters like Nagi, who eats the entire thing right up with her 80% reduction to AoE specials to close call. Repel, Spurn, slashing 40% off of it. The slow Lilina now has to deal with her attack getting reduced twice. That's a huge deal. So if they survive her onslaught and her counterattack, which is very likely to happen, Lilina and her hilariously low physical bulk will pretty much guarantee a trip straight to the Shadow Realm. Yeah, Nagi would have a pretty good shot of surviving. The AoE would get reduced to nothing, and then she also has the Dev Res thing that all dragons have, so she's going to be hitting Dev. Even if she's green, it doesn't matter. That's how dangerous using Lilina is. Her defense is just too low. So, like, this damage reduction that we've already seen, like, literally anyone with a damage reduction can kill Lilina. Besides, I guess, maybe regular Bike or something, who doesn't have AoE reduction in Irvan. Yeah, most of them probably don't have any reasons to fear Lilina, and if you were to build ultimate magic Bike with a Spurn like me, I'm not sure if it's a good idea to have Lilina drive into a spike wall like that. So, for all intents and purposes, if you decide you want to run Legendary Lilina, I think running something like Life and Death 4 is a sound idea, despite, the speed being pretty much wasted on her slow ass, and, her dev and res is going to be reduced. I mean, especially her dev is going to be reduced to nothing. You're going to need every last bit of visible attack you're going to get. So be sure to also equip a +3 attack seal, because that's what you're going to get in replacing Hardy Bearing with. So it's, all this just so that you get 3 attack. It's not a good tome. It really isn't. Honestly, Ophelia, who's featured in the video, or not featured, but she's in the video, ironically in the video, is better than her. And most importantly, Ophelia actually has speed to help against those speed-based 40% damage reduction nonsense. All Lilina has is what? Her cav range she could use in a cav line team. Like, oh, you can catch someone running a full set of Aether Raids offense buildings, which, by the way, you shouldn't do that, and end up having your support units exposed. Yeah, sure, she can bully them, but, I mean, the same can be said for just about any other cavs in such a team. So, Lilina also has an added flaw, being a unblessable legendary hero, so you gotta wait for the right season to buff up her stats, or you lose less points. So, as a result, I think that Legendary Lilina is rather sus. I think she's a terrible unit, and I'll even go as far as to say she's probably there. So, IS can show how generous they are this Christmas by having Hilda give us tickets to a horribly featured character. Now, fortunately, the banner that she comes in herself isn't so bad. I mean, Ronald Reagan is a pretty solid player face character you use for an extra slot, but we all have her already, so that's whatever. Unless you sack her, wow, that would be a terrible idea. Pulse Smoke is not worth it. And Plumeria is always nice to have a dancer in that same Astra team. So in terms of Reaganomics goes, it's not bad, because you also have Brahmiman, Duma, and Claude to ensure a fun, colorless experience. Because the first two are great for defensive mythics, as they are with unique effects, while Claude is a very solid unit in general. He's just a solid tank with attack speed rain, and attack speed rain is great fodder. Blue has Peony and more. We've got all 3 Brave Houses characters. Most of the characters in there are pretty good, except maybe Gatry. Gatry is, we can probably avoid him because he's really just a ball of stats. I'm not sure why they decided to toss him in that manner. But in general, you're looking at maybe 2 to 3 characters you want in a specific color. I guess no. You being is not exactly the right word. It's just my opinion. It could be different for you. But in general, I think 2 out of 3 are pretty good. So in terms of Reaganomics, it's slightly above average. But I honestly... I guess I might summon for colorless because I do want Duma. I want to +10 my Duma already. It's been like so long. And Claude, I need more attack speed rain in case I got more flying healers to do that with. And Brahmiman, well, Brahmiman I simply don't have, so it would be kind of nice to have him in my dark team as a bit of interesting spice to it. But even now I'm using something else for dark team, which is pretty deplorable. I'll have to show you later. It's an upgraded version of my Bernie defense, except with a lot more cruelty. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here. So that's all I have to say about Legendary Lilina and her banner. I mean, maybe I'm a little harsh about her, but I speak only the truth about these characters. I don't embellish that shit like other YouTubers. She's not a very good unit. She's terrible. Awkward to use, awkward for Aether Raids, and awkward for points. I just can't recommend her. Anyway, with that, I thank you all for watching. Until next time. And Merry Christmas too. Or Happy Holidays. Sorry about that.